Back in May 2020, here at the Campfire Church, we thought about what I called the Heaven Tree, working with the picture of the dynamics of salvation in the life of Jesus represented as a tree. The main trunk of it was the new and living way between heaven and earth, effected by Jesus in his work on the cross. The cross is sometimes called the tree, and we sometimes refer to a major long-distance route as a trunk road. The Heaven Tree is rooted in earth, and its balancing aerial parts are in heaven, like all trees. The trunk road comes down to earth from heaven through incarnation and crucifixion, manifesting into the physical with all the suffering that implies, and travels upward through resurrection and ascension, emerging on the other side of the experience of dying and loss and ending, then establishing and practicing the connection the new and living way opens for us. In the creation stories of the book of Genesis, we read about God creating Adam. The word Adam is a kind of Hebrew pun, deriving from the word Adamah, which means earthy or ground. So Adam means earthling, someone who is grounded, centred and rooted in the physical environment of earth. But Adam becomes what the Bible calls a nephesh, which means a living being, when God breathes into the inanimate clay of which his body is made. The Bible has a word, ruach, that can be translated as wind or spirit or breath. It means all those things. So it is that when God breathes into the earth-made form of Adam, it is the inspiration of Holy Spirit that makes him a living being. This means that our being is made up of earth, stardust, and Holy Spirit. When we expire, breathe our last, our souls return to God, whose breath they are, and our bodies return to the earth of which they are made. But in between being inspired and expiring, between the doorways of birth and death, we are on this path, this transition, this learning curve. And it is difficult. So tonight I wanted to say a little bit about the tree of life and the bread of heaven as a pointer towards accessing what can nourish and sustain us as we go along, our viaticum, our food for the journey, our manna for the desert tracks we walk. If you do an online image search for the Tree of Life, you'll find pictures like Celtic knotwork expressing the balance between roots and branches, between earth and heaven, as above, so below. But the Tree of Life is also an old term for a human placenta, with its vascular branches, established at the one end in the mother's womb and at the other end in the belly of the growing child. In iconography, the human soul is depicted as a child. Then we think of Jesus breaking the bread and blessing it by giving thanks, saying the bread is his body, given for the life of the world, broken for our healing, saying the cup of wine is his blood, shed to establish a covenant between earth and heaven, asking us to eat his body, drink his blood. This is all metaphorical language, bringing down into a conceptual framework the essential thing we need to grasp, that we are not cut adrift here. We are deeply, intimately, securely connected. There is absolutely no doubt that as we go through our earthly journey, we will experience pain and sorrow, loneliness and fear, doubt and turmoil, shame and distress, terror and horror, the sense of abandonment, the dark night of the soul. I have been through this, so have you. All of us have. These experiences map the seasons of our winter growth. When you cut down a tree, inside its trunk, as you know, one for each year of its life, you can see rings, and they are made by alternating winter and summer growth. The winter growth is slow and arduous, the dark nights of its soul, and the summer growth is quick and easy. For us, the summer growth is joy, the glory of music, the wonder of a sunrise, bird song, the smell of cut grass or the fragrance of roses at dusk, the amazement of looking at a baby's eyelashes and fingernails, the loveliness of cherry blossom in the spring, and the woodlands carpeted with gold in the fall, the sparkle of sunlight on the sea, falling in love, sitting with our dearest friends, drinking tea by the fire on a winter evening. There is the winter growth, which gives strength, and the summer growth gives flexibility. These things, whether winter or summer growth, feed us and nourish us, make us what we are. They are intimately of earth, and yet they are blessings from heaven. Just now, here on planet Earth, we are in a momentous time of transition. We are watching everything, quite literally, falling apart. All the familiar structures of ecology, society, family and religion, everything we relied on and turned to for security and strength, all falling apart. As above, so below, as without, so within. For most of us, one way and another, this has also been a tough time of inner purification of the body and also of the soul. We have felt loss and fear and pain pulsing through us, so many endings, so much relinquishment, so much grit and grief. We have been left with nothing but crumbled bits in our clutching hands, wondering whatever comes next and how we can possibly survive. And of course, like the caterpillar in its chrysalis, the reality is that we can't just go on, going on. What we knew is ending. It has to. or there would be no butterfly at the end of the process. I'm saying all this to you today because all the watchers say November promises to be yet another fast-moving, catastrophic, gritty, arduous month of demolition. The good news is that after that, the tide, which has already turned, picks up the flow of the new. But I want to encourage you, for the times we are in, you and I, both in our private and personal reality and in the social and ecological reality to which we belong. Please hold fast. Make conscious use of the tree of life, the heaven tree. Consciously feed on the bread of heaven. Take time, at night in the darkness is good for this, to feel and find the heartbeat of the holy, the unbroken, pulsing, faithful connection with the presence of the living God. It is there. I promise you, it is there. Hold on. Grab it with both hands and hold on. It will not fail you. It will lift you up. It will nourish you. Its joy will find you and transform everything to you if you seek it and open to it, if you welcome it in. As well as this, I encourage you to implement a small responsibility. This is ongoing, but it is not large. There are two aspects to it. When Jesus broke the bread, he transformed the ordinary flour and salt and oil bread of humanity into the bread of heaven, the bread of salvation, by the simple act of giving thanks and sharing it around. This is the key to transformation. It is only bread. It doesn't have to be a costly banquet beyond our means, just your ordinary daily bread, the stuff of your normal life. Give thanks for it and share it around. What I mean by this is look for things to be grateful for in every minute of every day. Rejoice in what comes to you and receive it thankfully. Give thanks for it because you like it, or if you don't, then because you can learn from it. Give thanks for an easy road, and also for the muddy, stony tracks that encourage you to take a different route. Give thanks for the magnificence and pleasure of the human body, and also for its inflammation and suffering that spurs you on to learn about healing and restore hope. Give thanks for the people you love and the ones that encourage you to do better. As you give thanks, you bless, and a blessing turns aside curses and transforms, brings life. And break the bread of heaven, share it around, in acts of kindness, in patience and humour, in being friendly, in keeping faith, in encouraging one another, in paying someone a compliment, or smiling and stopping to saying hello. Break the bread of heaven, the bread of your everyday life, and share it around. Give thanks. Break the bread. Share the goodness. Feast on it yourself. If you see things falling to bits around you, don't despair. Just do it more. We are here to bring the kingdom of heaven to earth, to anchor the light into our little patch of earth. Nothing big and grand, only the ordinary and everyday. But we are here to make a difference, and we can, and we will, because God will not fail us. We are rooted and grafted in heaven. And so it is.